So we've heard how God created the world. And at the end, God created the people and told them to take care of the world. I wonder what the people would need to do. Well, eventually, as years passed by, people would start to build houses, places to live. So let's put some buildings into our world now. All kinds of buildings. Houses, eventually shops and schools and blocks of flats, factories, churches, all kinds of buildings all over the world. As there were more and more people, there'd need to be more and more buildings and places to live. Let's have lots more. Unfortunately, the more people need to build, some of the areas where the animals live would need to disappear. And so, well, some of the trees would need to be chopped down. So let's lose some of these trees. And then sadly, that would mean that some of the animals wouldn't have places to live. So let's remove some of our animals from the world. And over time, well, we know that's what happened, haven't we? Some animals have become extinct and disappeared. And unfortunately, in the world, well, sometimes things start to go wrong and the people would start to get ill and diseases would come into the world. And people would start to get sick. Also, people decided that they needed to move around the world. And so people began to invent different kinds of transport. And so we began to see cars appearing. Lots and lots of cars all over the world. And lorries and buses and trains. Lots of things that would help people to move around and live in the world. In every part of the world. So we've got transport, we've got cars. We would have boats as well, of course. Transport everywhere. Sadly, sometimes that would mean that the world was beginning to be polluted and we'd start to get kind of poisonous air, if you like. As more and more cars came and more factories were being built, and the air would begin to be spoilt. And the seas, as people started to produce things from the factories, some of the seas would get polluted. And we know, don't we, that some of our seas have got plastic in them. Oh dear, this is not really good news, is it? I wonder if you think, are people making a good job of looking after the world? Well, sadly, of course, this would mean that some of the wildlife in the seas would die. So I'm going to remove our turtle and our whale because, well, what we've done to the world has spoilt it. So I wonder if you think we've done a very good job of looking after our world. And then also, sometimes the countries would start to disagree and fight. And so we know that wars would begin between countries, and so let's have some tanks, some army helicopters. And many people would be sad. And some people would die. Let's remove a couple of the people. And I wonder if God could look at our world, the world that he created, and still call it very good. I wonder what you think. Have we done the best job that we could of looking after the world? And if we haven't, what could we do about it? I'll show you a close-up now of what the world looks like. Maybe how God would be sad about what's happened to our world now. Let's have a closer look at the sort of things that we've done to our world. Do you think it looks good? I think it looks very messy right now. Let's have a closer look. I wonder what you think we should do. How could we care for our world better than we are doing at the moment?